good evening. Welcome to Witches of the Moon. I am your Wednesday host, Amethyst Moon, and this week's topic is over our favorite magical tools and how we use them. I have a few, and the ones that I enjoy using the most I brought out, and they're nothing fancy. Everybody uses them, but I'm just going to show you how I use them. Probably my favorite magical tool would have to be my herbs. Lavender is what I brought out this time, but I am very new at learning herbs. I was never allowed to have any in my house other than what was used for cooking purposes. So to have things in my house like lavender and jasmine and rue and things like that, I was never allowed to have before. So now that I am, and now that I can, it's become a passion. Herbs are one of my favorite magical tools. Now with herbs, a lot can be done with herbs. You can use herbs in teas. You can use herbs in meditation. You can offer them up as offerings to your god or goddess. You can offer them up to your fairies. You can put them in sachets. You can put them in bath salts. There are so many things that you can use with herbs, and herbs is a big subject in the well, it's a big part of a witch's life is herbs. And even if you can't have them physically, you can there's always a substitute for one herb. You can use another herb. Or if you don't have that option, then you can also just visualize. So herbs is the top on my list. The second favorite magical tool of mine would have to be my wand. Now, a lot of people will buy their wand. This one is used by my husband and me. And some people might think, well, you can't do that. But I honestly don't see why not. I have charged this item, my husband has charged this item, and both of our energies run through it. Now, a lot of people I've noticed do a lot of their visualization through their fingertips if they don't have a wand. You also don't actually need a wand. Like I just said, you can use your finger. Some people prefer not to use a wand at all and use an antheme for the same purpose. Some people see a wand as a representation of fire. I personally see it as a representation of air. I have an antheme, but I don't really use it. I prefer to use my wand. With that being said, the reason I like this wand so much is because it's got quartz at both ends. It's got the ball at this end, and it's got the point at this end. Now, like I said before, a lot of people like to use their fingertips as a source of where the energy is focused. My energy comes from my palm. And the reason having a wand like this works best for me is because the quartz is a conductor, and with it being at one end, actually with it being at both ends and the copper being in the middle, it is a pure conductor from from end to tip. And I'm kind of rambling, but the reason I like this type of wand is because when I hold it, I put the ball in the palm of my hand, and then that's how I am able to focus my energy, because my energy comes from my palm, not my fingertips. And I like to put the crystal ball in the palm of my hand when I'm holding it, and that conducts my energy into a more concentrated and localized area or object. Whether I'm enchanting, whether I'm doing a spell, whatever, I'm able to conduct my energy through my palm, and straight out the tip into the object or into the air. So that is my second favorite magical tool. My third favorite magical tool would probably have to be my candles. And I only brought out a few. I have quite a few candles. And I'm actually going to start trying to make my own, because I think it's going to be cheaper to make my own. But candles are so well known in the community that there's not really much I can talk about that you don't already know. But just for a brief overview, you can use candles for spell work. You can carve them with your intent. You can you anoint them with a corresponding oil, depending on what spell you're doing. Or you could do all three. You could carve into it, then anoint it, and then you can do what I like to do, and after I anoint it and the oil is still wet, I like to roll it in an herb corresponding with the spell or whatever I'm doing with it in particular candle. And the candles that you use can be in a representation of whatever spell you're doing. I just grabbed these three because these three remind me of Isis. I know the colors aren't her traditional colors, but these are the colors that work best for me. Gold, light blue, and white. So these were just the ones that I grabbed because they're the ones that I use the most often, so they were at the top of the barrel. But yeah, that would probably be my next favorite magical tool. Would have to be my candles. I have them lit all the time. I'm actually sitting right here right now in front of a table, and I have a candle on either side of my iPad. It's just, they're soothing to me, and they're probably soothing to a lot of witches. My next favorite magical tool would probably have to be my pendulum. Using a pendulum is what I have. Using a pendulum and a spirit board have been what I've done pretty much my whole path as in regards to divination. I'm very, very new to ruins. I'm currently in a course now studying them because I want to broaden my divination aura. I'm also getting to know tarot cards and oracle cards. Oracle cards aren't that difficult, but to read them properly, you need to know what you're doing. So I use my pendulum when I want to talk to my spirit guides, when I want to talk to my deity. And basically what you do is you hold your pendulum over your spirit board. I did not bring my spirit board out. If you look back on my personal channel, look back and you'll actually see a video that I did of when I purchased my spirit board from a dear friend of mine. It's a homemade spirit board. I am very leery when it comes to Ouija boards, especially the kind that you can buy in a department store. To me, I don't really care for those kind because they're mass produced, and you don't know what comes with them. So I try to steer clear from the department store spirit board or department store Ouija boards. I try to linger. I tried to gear myself towards something handmade. If I did, or if I was to own a spirit board, it would, I own a spirit board. If, sorry, if I was to have a Ouija board, then I would probably have to have one that has been handmade and not mass produced. That's what I was trying to spit out. But you just hold your pendulum over your spirit board, whether your spirit board is handmade or drawn yourself. You can draw your spirit boards out on a piece of paper and use them like that. I did that for years before I owned the spirit board that I have now. But the way I do it is I hold my pendulum over my spirit board. I train it which way it goes. I don't have to now because my spirit board is the same. Before, my spirit boards would change because I would have the no's and the yeses in different spots. So I'd have to train my pendulum every time I went to use it, but now it's getting to the point where I don't have to anymore. I use it quite frequently. There is a spirit attached to it, and she does not want me to go into further detail on that yet. However, off topic, you just use you just hold it in your hand like this, and you can ask it questions. Make sure that you cleanse your area before and after you do this. But you would hold it over your spirit board, you would ask it questions, and if somebody is with you that night, then they would answer you through the movement of the pendulum itself. As such. So that would probably be my next favorite magical tool. I only have 2 left, and they go hand in hand with each other. My last, well, I have 2, but they kind of go hand in hand, sort of. My next favorite item would have to be my crystals. I use crystals for a lot of things. I use crystals to charge my new items. I use crystals to enhance spell work, to meditate, to... There's just as many uses with crystals as there is herbs. They're used for a lot of things, and I'm not going to go in depth about it because every stone has a different correspondence and has a different representation and have different energies, and but my 2 favorite would have to be quartz and rose quartz. These are the 2 that I use the most. They're not my favorite stones, but these are the 2 that I use the most in my practice. I also use stones for meditation, and I have 2 items that I use for meditation. I use palm stones, which I have used this one. I also have an angelite palm stone that I use. And you can use them as a form of grounding. I use them as a form of grounding when I'm doing my meditations, because I tend to do this when I'm meditating with my stones. If I don't use these, I use my prayer beads. These prayer beads were handmade for me, and they are in moonstone, and I tend to like to use these. If I don't have a crystal with me, I use my prayer beads. And I use my prayer beads for the same purpose as I would my stone. A lot of people, when they use their prayer beads, they use them for, well, they use them for prayer and for meditation. And I don't know the whole story behind prayer beads. I'm not an expert at prayer beads, but I do know that they are used as a form of, like the stone is for meditation. And I guess what I'm stumbling on is there is a prayer that you can do during your meditation where you say a prayer for each one of the stones, and then you go to the next stone, you say another prayer, you go to the next stone, you say another prayer. I don't know the exact science behind that. I do know that is an option. Feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section as a response to this, because I'm sure there are some out there that know what I'm talking about and could actually tell me what I'm trying to refer to. So yes, these are my favorite magical tools, and I think I've given a description on how I use each one of them differently in my practice. You yourself might use them in a different way. Feel free to send me a video response or leave a comment in the comment section on how you use some of these tools. And I hope to see you back next week, and until then, blessed be. Hello, you are watching Witches of the Moon. I am your Wednesday host, Amethyst Moon, and this video is the second video in this week's series about talking about how you can craft your own Book of Shadows. Now, everything I'm going to say about this subject is just going to be, it's just going to be talk. There's no going to be, I'm not going to show you anything, because my Book of Shadows to me is very, very, very personal. I won't show anybody. I take that back. My husband has seen it, but outside of my immediate family here in this house, nobody has seen it. I won't show it. However, I still wanted to go ahead and do a small video on this, because the concept of the Book of Shadows is so much more than just a book nowadays. I myself have a book. Over the course of my path, I've had many books. I'm the type of person that I probably have 8 to 10 notebooks lying around my house, and I'm the type of person that when I think of something or something pops into my head, I have to write it down right then, otherwise within minutes it's gone. So I keep notebooks all around my house, and that has worked for me for a while, but I think I'm going to end up changing the way I do things, because there are so many ways to have a Book of Shadows now that everybody has more options than just the book form. There are cyber witches that, well, I consider them cyber witches, but they keep their Book of Shadows on their computer. whether it be in a file or keep it on an online type storage thing like Dropbox. Or I've known some that actually make a website and put their items, their spells and their correspondences and all that kind of stuff. They put that information on this website, and not only are they having a place that they can go to see these items, there's a lot of them that offer the website to the public. So in a hence, they're sharing their Book of Shadows, or at least 90% of the contents of their Book of Shadows, because most Book of Shadows is more than just spells and correspondences and invocations and stuff like that. It's got a lot of personal things in it, like some people like to keep their their dream journal in their Book of Shadows. They like to keep a log in there, and there's so many ways to do it. The way that I'm liking the best, and I plan on starting it once I get the funds to do it, is to have a binder Book of Shadows, because I don't have the best memory in the world. I need to be able to pull my pages out and go from there, and I don't always want to have a big book with me because I'm not always at home when I do ritual. Sometimes I'm outside. And for me, I just think having a binder would be the best choice for me personally, because you click it open, pull your page out, and then you're good to go, and then you put it right back to where it was. So I think that's the route I'm going to take, is to get a binder and do a binder Book of Shadows. There are websites out there that make binders for witchcraft, for paganism, for our religion. They do have binders out there. The one place I know of where I plan on purchasing mine from is Zazzle.com, Zazzle.com. That's where I plan on buying mine. I'll put a link. I'll go into Zazzle and I'll find these binders, and I'll put a link in the description bar so you guys can go check them out. They have lots of designs, pentacles, fairies, pentagrams, the Tarketa symbol, triple goddess, dragons. They have all kinds. So and Zazzle's pretty cool because they offer lots of other things too. That's another video. So I think that about covers it for my Book of Shadows craft. I know I really didn't do a craft with you guys, but I just felt that I needed to express that there is more out there other than just the book. You can have your Book of Shadows any way that you feel comfortable, whether it be online, or actually have a book, or have more than one book, or a binder, or simply just in your head. If you're that type of person where you can just think of stuff off the top of your head. So maybe you don't really need a Book of Shadows. That's just my opinion, though. If you didn't really want one, you wouldn't really have to have one. So I think that about covers it for this. Check back next week. I hope to see you. Blessed be.